You know what? It would help if I turned the microphone on. Can you guys hear me now? That's kind of funny. Well, I guess I'll start that. I guess I'll start that all over again. Somebody say down below if you can hear me. Yeah, okay. You're laughing about it. You guys know what's going on. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I had the microphone turned off. Stupid me. Anyway, look, if you guys lose me tonight, it's because I'm get used to this Wi-Fi thing. I got it now where my Wi-Fi works better in the garage. So anyway, let me start over what I just said when I had the microphone off. Okay, what I said is welcome everybody to a live feed tonight. So glad you guys are here, which that's true. And this is something I'm going to do every month, every last Friday of the month, hopefully, if I remember to do it right. And just to do the simple things and to get together and to talk about the things we love the most, which is motorcycles and stuff like that. But before I get into it, I saw that somebody asked over in the chat about how far over are the forks on the tramp right here. Well, I tell you, literally, the forks are 8 inches over stock, but when put all together, and somehow it makes them a 10 over front end. That's what Paco told me. You know, Paco, the guys who make the frames. But when you got the thing jacked up in the air I'll tell you what the measurement is literally from the bottom of the steering stem to the center of the axle. It's 30 inches, and Paco says that means it's a 10 over front end. I don't understand that, how it can be a 10 over front end when it's 8 inches over stock. Anyway, I don't get it. But that's to answer your question. And anyway, so tonight's subject, as you saw, is what does motorcycling mean to you? And your best motorcycle trip. Maybe you haven't made a trip, but what do you hope to do? And I'm going to start off by saying my perspective so I can get that out of the way. What does motorcycling mean to me? Well, it's kind of a deep subject. I really don't know how to put it into perfect words, but I'll try to hit the high points. What it means to me is unlike in a lot of other countries where it's just all business, point A to point B, it's the time when I can just get in my head and just be. And to me, motorcycling is a means of getting away and doing whatever you want to do and going wherever you want to go. And the ultimate thing about motorcycling to me is going as far as I can for as long as I can, and just existing in my own little world and just the freedom of it all. And I hate to use cliche words like freedom and stuff like that, but it is what it is. And just there's nothing like it when you get on your bike and get in the wind and just go whatever direction you're going without even thinking about looking back for a while. And especially for me, when I do it on this bike right here, I love to see new places on this motorcycle right here, because I remember when it was just a pile of parts. I had a front end over here, I had a wheel over here, I had the body laying over here, jugs and pistons laying back there, just the motorcycle everywhere, the frame literally cut in two pieces. It was an ordeal to put this thing together. And then my okay, reception's kind of funny, I guess. Anyway, but my best trip has been on that bike to Texas and also to the Delta, the Mississippi Delta. And I could say a whole lot more, but my best motorcycle trip overall has been, I have to say, to the West Coast, either between going to the West Coast or literally staying gone for 3 months at a time, not knowing where I'm going. But that was back in 2006, where I had no house, no job, no wife, no dog. Sounds like a country song, doesn't it? Or an old country song. But I had nothing to tie me down. I had no reason to come back home. I had nothing to go to. So it was just me in the wind on my motorcycle with what I could carry. I was a drifter for about 3 months. And then one day I met my wife, and the rest is history. And not saying that's a bad thing. I think I would have to say she's much better than any motorcycle trip, but it's even the cherry on top when she goes with me. But I talked about a second ago going to California You know, from where I live, that was something. I know some of you guys out west are like, yeah, big deal. But, you know, that was over 5,000-mile round trip. And whenever you're gone, I mean, that's the first trip I've taken since that drifter thing I tried. And I was gone for like 2 weeks and saw things I've never seen before and just existed out in the middle of nowhere in the desert where you know, all through the desert and all through the plains and stuff like that. And it was just awesome. So I know I can ramble on about this stuff, but that's my perspective, you know, about motorcycling in general. You know, it's not all business with me. You know, it's actually just getting in my head and just being out there. I don't know how else to say it other than just being free. Anyway, I'm sure some of you guys will have a better way of saying it than I just said it, because, you know, I'm kind of on the spot, you know, no editing, nothing like that. So I'm sure some of you have some stories to tell. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to leave I'm fixing to post the link so that you guys can click on the link that I'm about to post over here in the side chat, can come on screen and now and talk about these things. Now let's, I don't know how many of you guys are going to come up. So, you know, this will be fun. I will ask though, just keep it clean. And if you're in your right mind tonight, you know, if you know what I mean, you know, let's try and keep it like that too. Anyway, so here we go. All right, there's the oops, I didn't hit enter. Okay, there's the link, and whoever wants to come on can come on. And until somebody wants to come on, I'm gonna look back at some of your comments and let's see what we got going on here. Oh wow, you guys, there's a bunch of you guys. Hey, what's up, Dustin? What's going on? I'm back up. I'm trying to read all your comments. I can't really see. Can't believe he was mentioned in the past. Okay, approximately 6. I believe he said it's cutting inner spring a bit. Hey, what's up, Alan at Raw Cycles? Hey, Al Gosh. I'm glad to see you guys out tonight. Who else is up here? JC Cycles. What's up, Jason? JC Cycles. Ryan Thompson. Hey, thanks for tuning in, bro. Freedom Freaks here. Hey, Freedom, what's going on? A guy named Tom says, yes, my phone was broke. Oh, sorry about that, Tom. Didn't mean to fool you with that. Hey, JT Southern Fried. And Mofo, what's going on, man? Lone Bagger's in the house. Rick the Mix in the house. And Rick says, I totally thought that the no sound was my issue. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean for that to happen. Let's see. Bass Pro 88. Bikes are life. Yeah, I can dig that. Yeah, it is life. Let's see. Yogi's Cycle Service. Hello from New York. I mean, not New York, North Carolina. I'm sorry about that. Francisco José J. Santana. Brasil, Francisco, abraço. Abraço para você também, Francisco. Road Dogg. Hey, amigo from West Georgia. Well, thanks for coming on, Road Dogg. Jim Barry. What's up, Jim? What's up, Derek? Yeah, Jason, I got a Wi-Fi extender in the garage now, so I can have a full signal with this laptop. So this is my first time using it. A couple of times I got kicked off the internet, so I might get kicked off every once in a while and have to get back on. So if you guys lose me, I'll be right back. And D-Cycle's in the house. Jesse Tiffany's in the house. Jamin Rooney's in the house. Let's see. Not used to operating this laptop for this kind of thing. Cordovan B. All right. Hey, Kenneth Wise, what's going on? I'm sure that some of you guys, everybody's got a story, you know. So anybody who wants to Hey, Leland Sanchez from Alabama. No, somebody else said out. Terry Freeman's from Alabama. Somebody's from Wisconsin. Van Kramer. Anyway, what's up, Trip? So you guys got a story to tell, I know. So tell me, some of you guys come up and let's talk about what does motorcycling mean to you? And I'm going to leave this link down here. Hey, what's up, Anonymous Biker? I just left that link right there in the side chat. So any of you guys want to come up, just click that link and come on up and talk about what does motorcycling mean to you? What is your best motorcycle trip? What do you hope to do? You know, we'll talk about it. And I like to hear from you guys, man. And I'm sure we all have something to share, and we can learn one from another too, as far as perspectives and stuff like that. You're running errands? Yeah, that's a bummer, man, ain't it? Anyway, you want to go to Florida with your dad? Oh man, so what's going on in Florida, man? Pineville, Missouri. Dean Russo from Pineville, Missouri. I'll let some others get their story out before this Irishman starts to tell tales. Well, Rick, doesn't seem like anybody wants to jump on. Hey, what's up, Paul? But any of you guys feel like just jumping on, I'm going to leave this link right here. And again, and we can share our stories. Passion, devotion, I don't know, just like to ride. Being on two wheels is awesome. Yeah, I can definitely dig it. To me, you know, being on two wheels is like the second best thing to flying, you know. It's like getting in an airplane and I look out the window and look down and see everything down below that has everything to do with life's plagues and troubles, and it's down there and I'm up here, and it can just stay down there. But you know what goes up must come down, and eventually you got to return back to the life's troubles. So you get on the motorcycle, you can just run away from life's troubles, you know, just be, you know. But then again, if you have a mortgage, you have responsibilities that typically the culture throws at you, then you got to come back. So anyway, that's that. I ever since I took some of my long trips, though, you know, I found it hard to take any short ride around here, you know, because like, for example, when my wife and I rode to California and came back home, you know, where we live in Mississippi, I told her ever since that trip, every ride after that's been like going up the road, because like it wasn't too long after that we went to North Carolina, about 600 miles, I think it is, from our house. We got there and I didn't really feel like we went anywhere, you know. So that's the drawback to doing long trips, is that they kind of mess up your daily joy ride around town, you know. But who wants to ride around town anyway? Hey, what's up, Tom Marsh? So anyway, again, I'm leaving this link again in the side chat, so that whoever wants to click the link and come on screen is more than welcome. You know, we ain't got, you know, you don't have to have a speech or anything like that. You can just, you know, I don't know why I said that. Anyway, I'm just talking, you know. So somebody else come up here and talk. Anyway, hold on a second. I gotta go and turn this radio down before YouTube flags me with copyright infringement or something. Okay, that's better. That's a lot better. So anyway, you never know. Sometimes you can post a video on YouTube and and there'll be music in the background, and they flag you with a copyright strike, or not a strike, but just they let you know about it, and then you got to do something about it, or it's up to you if you want to do something about it or not. Hey, look, we got somebody. D-Cycle wants to come on. D-Cycle's in the house. How you doing, bro?
Hey, how are you, Corey?
Doing okay, man. Doing all right. What you got happening? What you got going on?
Oh, nothing. Just Friday night. Ready for the weekend. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I called you last weekend, but you didn't pick up. I guess you're a busy guy, huh? Hello? Hello?
Well, I don't know what happened there, but anyway, lost connection. I'm back on again. Hey, D-Cycle, man, if you can still see, if you're still seeing this, come on back on, man. I don't know what happened, but it happened. Just is what it is. Technical difficulty. Technology ain't perfect, but anyway, come on back on, D-Cycle. We got to. We were just getting started. Let's see. Anyway, until there he is. You there? There you are.
I'm here.
Okay, cool. I don't know what happened. It's just I guess it's this new equipment I've got. It's in and out, I suppose. Anyway, I got kicked off. Anyway, well, I lost signal, but I had to hook back up again. So anyway, you tried. So you tried to give me a holler. Did you leave me a message?
I didn't. I probably should have. I know your signal can be a little spotty out there. I probably should have.
Okay.
But I'll give you a call again this weekend.
No big deal. That's cool, man. So tell me, what does motorcycling mean to you, man?
What's motorcycling mean to me?
What's your story?
Well, I've only been riding a few years. I think it was just 3. It's 3 years actually this coming month, and it's really been an awesome way just to get out and clear your head, get away from life's problems a little bit, and just enjoy yourself. It's just you, a bike, and the road, and that's the beauty of it. I think it's minimal as far as what you're dealing with, and you're just more alert. You just take everything in around you way more than you would in a car, and just
definitely.
Getting out and clearing your head if you've had a rough week or a rough day or something. It's something good to look forward to.
Yeah, I can dig that, man. It's like I said, it's like the second best thing to flying. It's just like an escape.
For sure.
And so, what about you said you've only been riding 3 years now? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, 3 years. It's 3 years this coming March.
Okay, so what? Okay, so you haven't done any. Have you done any road trips since then?
No, I haven't been able to get away for extended miles. I mean, I've done 200-mile rides.
Okay, well since you haven't done that, I know you definitely dream of doing such a thing. So, what is your dream ride? Your dream trip on a bike?
I really want to ride back out because I used to live in Phoenix. I went to college out there, and I'd really like to ride down I-10 from Flagstaff down through the desert. That's really what I wanted. I'd like to take 66 right from right here where I live and just take that all the way out and hit Flagstaff and just go south to Phoenix. I think that'd be amazing to see, especially at either sun up or sundown because the desert's so pretty.
Yeah, nice.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to most. Gonna do it someday. I know I am.
Yeah, I got you, man.
Awesome. Go for it.
Okay, well, cool. Well, anyway, let's see. Kenneth Wise, huh? What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, Corey? How you doing, buddy? Can you hear me all right?
Where you? Yeah, I hear you. Okay. So where are you coming from?
I am in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, the Harrisburg area. I ride year round. I'm one of those crazy bastard people that, I have heated gear. Although I have lived most of my life in Florida, Jacksonville. I moved up here back in 2011. And, I'm like, well, I'm going to do whatever I can do to still get in the wind. So I got all the heated everything. So yeah, it doesn't matter to me if it's 0 out, I'm going to ride.
Yeah, I can dig that. I remember living in Louisville, Kentucky for a short period of time back from the latter part of 05 to the earlier part of 06, the winter time, in other words. And it was like, there was times that just, it wouldn't get above 28 degrees. And I had enough of it, and I decided I'm going riding, man. I can't stand this anymore. I mean, there was still ice in places, and I rode probably 10 miles and had to turn back around, and I stayed sick for 2 weeks, because I wasn't prepared. We don't have that kind of weather where I live, so I guess I wasn't prepared for that. So
yeah.
So anyway, so what does your perspective? What's motorcycling to you, man? What does it mean to you?
Well, for several years, that's all I've ever owned is motorcycles. I went most of my life without even having a car. And in fact, when I get in a car, I feel weird. I don't even really, I'm not a good driver. I tell people, even though I own a truck, I tell people, when they get in my truck, I said, you might want to cinch up your seatbelt. I forewarned them. I'm like, I'm a really bad driver. You need to know that. Most teenagers have more driving experience than I do, but I've put 100,000 miles on every Harley Davidson I've ever owned. Right now, I've got 138,000 on this one, which I really kind of fond of. But I don't know. I've had 5 Harley Davidsons. And again, every one of them has had over 100,000 miles. So yeah, I like to ride. My riding partner is my best friend, my brother. He lives in Daytona.
Now is he the one in the video of yours I saw where you got the motorcycle for him? It was, is that?
Yeah.
Now what kind of bike was that? That was an old FLT, right?
Yes, sir. That's a very unique FLT. There's probably a handful of them in the world, and he has one of them. Liberty Edition Tour Glide. His is number 124 out of 160 made. Yeah, I mean, it's a really nice bike. But yeah, he rides that thing a lot. We're both fans of the fixed fairing bikes. I have my Road Glide. I really like the fixed fairing bikes. I mean, and hats off to those guys who, like yourself, who ride without having any fairing at all. I don't know how you do it, but we're both fans of the fixed fairing.
Actually, it's kind of funny. Now I've got the Heritage. Pretty much the windshield stays on it. That's as close to a fairing as you're going to get. But the way the Tramp is built, the way the frame is made, the geometry of the frame places the tank in such a position. And especially when I put this jacket on the handlebar and really they'll hit right here, so it's not that big a deal. But there was a time when I rode with no windshield at all, and I guess I don't know if you call it growing up or growing old. You kind of want a little bit more than what you have, I guess. But yeah, when I rode that Road Glide in that one video, I wasn't expecting it to be like that.
Yeah,
it was almost nasty, but but anyway, so anyway, what kind of trips have you done? Have you done?
The longest trip that this is when I lived in Jacksonville. We were raised pretty much by our grandparents, and my grandmother was in a hospital on her deathbed, so we rode from uh, Daytona to Pittsburgh, and we watched her take her last breath, and we watched her pass, and we stuck around, and we buried her, and then we rode back home. So that was 1,000 miles there, and then a turnaround, and then 1,000 miles back. And then as soon as we got home, my grandfather, I guess he was pretty distraught about losing his wife, which I can imagine. I mean, they were married 50 some years. The old fella took his life, and I felt bad that he did that. But we turned right back around and went back up there, and we had to bury my grandfather. So then we went to another big party somewhere up there in Ohio near the Michigan border. And so all in all, in a week's time, we put 5,000 miles on our bikes together. So that was the longest trip that I've ever done, was 5,000 miles.
Wow.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Yeah, that's what that Cali trip was like for me. A round trip, that is.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that, Kenneth. It's cool.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, thanks for having your live chat. This is really cool.
Put to the name too, man.
Yeah, man. I love your channel. You're doing great stuff. Keep it up.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and minimize what's going on here.
I'm gonna leave your chat now.
I think I'm losing you. All right, man. All right. Who else can hear me? Are we having a connection problem, or is it me, or is it somebody?
I got you.
You're going a little in and out, brother. Uh-oh.
All right. I don't hear. Let's see if this will.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that didn't work out too good in the garage. So anyway, sorry about that, guys. I guess we're back in this boring little bedroom, and I guess this will till I figure out something else. Oh well, no more broadcasts in the garage. So anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this again. I'm going to leave the link down below. I had Kenneth Wise on, and I had D-Cycle. I had a guy on there named Road Dogg, and I was really wanting to get around to you, Road Dogg, to talk to you. And so if you want to come back on again, there's the link. You guys can come right back on, and just we'll sort this whole thing. Not sort this whole thing. Pick up again. Apparently, these things, technology, man, I just wasn't born for it, apparently. So who we got here? Iceman. Hey, Iceman, what's happening with you?
Hey man, how are you?
Doing all right. I forgot what I was going to ask you. Anyway, I guess you don't have your camera on because you're anonymous. That's cool.
No,
So what's
he wouldn't allow me to. For some reason, he said I didn't have iOS 12.2 or something. I had an older version. I'd have to. I don't know.
It's a technology thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so how'd you get into? Well, not how did you get into it? That's what I said last month. What's motorcycling mean to you, Iceman? What's your perspective on the thing?
Say that again now. I'm sorry.
So as far as motorcycling, what does it mean to you deep down inside, man? What's your perspective on that?
I love to ride. It's therapy. I think wind therapy. It's just my release, man. You know, when I can have a bad day, go fire my bike up, take a little ride, and instantly I feel better.
I can dig that, man. It's like getting it's kind of like you shut the whole world out as soon as you get on
Absolutely.
two wheels.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. I can definitely
get out on the bike, and all your problems for the moment go away, or they do for me.
Right. So what is the best trip you've taken or your dream trip, you know, and why is that? What you got there?
I'm really wanting to go to Sturgis. That's I've not been there yet. That's really where I want to go.
So where are you from?
Kentucky.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be a good ride for you. I went to Sturgis in 2006. I don't know when you tuned in, but I was saying one of my best, two of my best trips. One of them was when I went to Sturgis, and I didn't say that about it, but that was when I was on the road for 3 months, and I just didn't want to go home. But yeah, I live on the coast of Mississippi, so that was about a 1,500-mile ride one way, and of course, I didn't care because I wasn't planning on going home. But anyway, it's not about me anymore. It's about you. So Sturgis.
That's really what I would love to go there.
Yeah.
I will eventually.
I tell you what the coolest thing about Sturgis was for me was it wasn't really getting there. I know that whole cliche. It's not about the destination. It's about the ride. And I hate to say that. I hate to say that cliche, but there's some truth to that. You know, I actually enjoyed the ride going there more than I enjoyed the event. And what's cool about Sturgis when you finally go, what I thought was really neat about it was the closer you get to that event, like say 500 miles or 1,000 miles, you start seeing the same faces at the gas stops. Every gas stop, you start seeing the same people. And then next thing you know, you got acquaintances and you end up staying at the same hotel and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of funny how that happens. But anyway, yeah, that's really cool.
I would love to, load my bike down and go and camp. I want to go camp. I don't stay in the motel room. I'd love to camp out.
Right. Well, that's what we did when we got there. We stayed at somewhere out in the woods.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. So where have you been? Have you been anywhere else?
Nowhere spectacular.
Well, it didn't have to be spectacular. All it has to be is spectacular to you.
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying, but no, I'm not been real far.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'll tell you what, though.
I've got 3 kids right now. So
oh, I got you. I can understand that.
That's kind of keeping. Got to take care of the kiddos.
Yeah, definitely. That takes precedence over everything.
Oh,
I tell you what, though, when you finally make that trip to Sturgis and you make that long trip like that, no ride, you're not going to be satisfied with any local ride around where you live after you do a long trip like that. It's like I said, when I went to California and back, man, I don't even want to get on my bike and ride around unless I'm going to go 500 miles or something like that. Right. But that's not completely true. I still get on my bike and ride, but I like to every once in a while just put on the headphones and listen to music and BS myself like I'm actually going somewhere,
Right.
Anyway, let's I appreciate you sharing that, man. That's cool. We'll go on to Road Dogg. What's happening, man?
Not a whole lot. I'm a rookie at this. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can
man.
you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you real loud and clear. So where are you coming from?
Okay. Kelton, Georgia, which is on the west side of Georgia, about maybe 20 miles below I-20, about 10, 15 miles from the Alabama line.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You're not too far from me then. Well, I say not too far from me. I don't know. I guess when you've been to a lot of places, your perspective of local kind of widens up,
Right.
I got you, man.
Yeah.
So
I really don't have long trips. I ride my bike every day to work and back. That's about 100 miles. And then some of my best trips on the weekend are just getting out there and following the front wheel. Where you're going, just follow it and end up. You meet some cool people and interesting places.
I got you. Yeah, I dig that concept. Just following the front wheel. That's pretty much. You don't know where you're going, but the only thing you do know is where you've been.
Yeah, I guess if I'm getting close to retiring, I think, I'd like to just travel up and down the Florida Gulf Coast, maybe around and visit with you. That part of, I like that ride. I'm not much into going up and riding the Dragon and all the curves. I'd rather roll through, the farmland and flat lands and stuff like that.
Yeah, what everybody else does,
And I'm into 883 Sportsters too.
Oh, that's cool.
I got a couple of them. I got a Evo Dyna, which I love, and then I got a 2011 Road King. But mainly go back and forth to work on the 883s. It's a good bike, good mileage. The tires are cheaper for it. Easy maintenance. It's just a well-around bike. I'm a bigger guy, so I catch hell for riding it. But like you said, it's not a girl's motorcycle.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right.
And just the fact that you even riding that thing is like giving how do I say it? It's kind of like giving the middle finger to the culture, saying, who says I got to have this and that to do this and that,
Right.
And I like the 883 Sportsters because they're like a pair of shoes, man. They do what you want them to do. You don't have to manipulate them too much. It's like an extension of yourself.
I think what got me into motorcycles, I don't know if a lot of people remember this, a show, Then Came Bronson.
I remember
that.
Yeah, I don't think I saw it, but I don't think I've seen it all the way through, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know, and he's in traffic, and the guy rolls down the window in a station wagon and says, "Where are you heading?" And he says, "I don't know." And he said, "Man, I wish I was you." And then he
Yeah, I
says,
remember,
I
remember that scene.
You remember that?
I remember that scene. Yeah, that is pretty cool.
It's kind of like how I feel on the way to work. You know.
You know, when I was taking that trip to Cali, the wife and I got a lot of that at every gas station or every other gas station. They would see the motorcycle all packed up, and we were on my 103 Heritage Softail, and people would see the bike all packed up, and everybody wanted to talk to us. It's like they were living vicariously through what we were doing, or something.
Right.
It's like, I think that, I don't know, I took up a lot of our time during the days where we were traveling. Was the people that wanted to talk to us. I mean, you don't want to be rude. They're amazed at what they see, and they wish they were doing that. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, when you're on an older bike, like one of my Sportsters, kind of flat black, older bike, you'd be surprised. Every time I get gas, you know, there's somebody comes over and talks to me. What year is that? What is it? You know, you meet a lot of people. You know.
Yeah, I get a lot of that, especially on the tramp. What's really funny? What's really funny is when you build a chopper, or especially my bike, nobody knows what year it is, and you tend to attract every know-it-all at the gas pump and wants to tell you what you got, and you're the one that built it.
Well, I came across the channel, you know, looked at some of Scooter Tramp Scotty stuff, and I said, "Man, this is cool. He does what I do: ride motorcycles and spend time in the garage wrenching." So I was checking you out.
Oh, well, thanks. That's cool, man. So what kind of have you done any really significant trips like that's relative to you?
No, not really. I mean, you know, when I was younger, I did Daytona, stuff like that, up in the mountains. You know, I used to ride with a club, and I kind of got tired of being told where I had to go, how long I had to stay, and stuff like that. And
yeah, I
kind of like doing my own thing.
I understand that. I used to do that kind of thing too years ago, and I know where you're coming from. You know, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I tend to, I like to ride with friends, and I like to ride with, but that's more like every once in a while, not all the time. I think I have more adventurous times whenever I'm by myself.
You know, it's a lot more relaxing out there on the road by myself than running in a pack and everybody wanting to run about 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, that kind of
side by
kind of takes the fun out of it, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, well, I'll get off of here where other people can talk, but I'm gonna keep in touch.
Okay, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Okay, you have a good one.
Take
all right,
care,
Dog. Take it easy. What's up, Deluxe Champ? How you doing?
Hey, long time no see.
Yeah, really. Imagine that.
Doing well today.
Well, that's
I'm sitting here in my quiet room, next to my my gun safe here.
It's almost like your little studio, huh?
Kind of. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught this thing in the beginning. I tried to start this off in the garage, but I had a little bit of technical issues, so I had to move it into this boring bedroom. You know, nothing particular. So,
well, hey, I could open up the door of the safe. You could see some of my my goodies in here, but you know,
I could take your word for it. So anyway, share what you got going on, man. What's like, in other words, what's motorcycling mean to you, man? What's your perspective on that?
To me, I think what it means to me is the same thing that it means to a lot of us out there. It means freedom, quite simply. Yeah. You know, get on that bike and you kind of shed everything that's kind of getting you down, or you know, maybe you know, you got something going on, you got your mind on that's consuming too much of you. You hop on that bike and you're free. You're free, man.
Right. Kind of get in your head and get your thoughts together into I don't know the right philosophical way of saying it, but I know I can dig what you're saying, man. I can dig that. So what kind of trips have you done, man? Or if you haven't, like what's the trip you long to do?
My long trip, I think we might have touched on this once before. I packed it up and hit the road for a little over a month. I took off up north, then rode across the northern states into Canada, then back around to Sturgis, then home. It was at a time when I was really kind of feeling like Denver wasn't the place for me anymore. That's changed too much, and I just wanted to get out on the road and see other things. And what I learned on that trip was, the world we live in isn't as bad as anybody or everybody would think it is. A lot of really kind people out there. They want to say hello, and it's really cool.
I think what it did to me one time is I realized that my world is not as big as I think it is, and the world's a lot bigger place, and your problems ain't really how do I put it? Really insignificant. And
exactly.
I don't really know how to put it. They're not insignificant to you, and mine aren't insignificant to me. But once you get out there in the wind and you take off for a while, and you realize that, well, crap, that's just fluff, man. That's here today, gone tomorrow type stuff, But you get in the wind and you clear your mind. It's one of them things, and you know what I'm talking about. Anybody who rides knows what I'm talking about. That you really can't get a good feel of that until you do it yourself.
Absolutely, concurred.
I can concur. That. You got any other like future, any dream trips you want to do, stuff like that?
A dream trip that I have coming up this June. I'm going back to the Isle of Man. I'm going back with meeting up with some friends from England, and we're going to go watch those maniacs race their motorcycles around a little island out in the Irish Sea. And have a good time. I'm going to do that for a week. So, maybe I'll come back to the States. Maybe I won't, because I really do like it over there. It's spectacular. It's definitely a dream, that I've had for a while and got to do it once. And the dream is to get back there, and it's going to happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I like what you just said. Maybe you'll come back. Maybe you won't.
You never know, man.
Yeah. It always messes with my head every time, like, say, Scotty comes by, and I hear his perspective of life, not life per se, but how he lives. And then another friend, a mutual friend of his, stopped by recently doing the same thing. And he's living on the road on his motorcycle. And here's the thing of what I learned, that you never ask a drifter. You never ask them when and where and when, because they don't live like that. They don't have that concept.
Right.
And one thing that this guy told me, we asked him, where are you going to go tomorrow? He goes, I don't know. I like that I can say that, because it's really not the demands of anybody. So
absolutely. It's like the saying goes, I'm not here for a long time. I'm just here for a good time.
I got a shirt.
And
that's cool.
And when it's time to go, it's time to go.
Right. I can dig that.
For sure.
Well, look,
all right, I'm gonna hop off and let some more guys get on.
All right.
So you take it easy, and we'll see you again.
All right, Deluxe, man. Take it easy.
Here for a good time, not a long time.
All right. Bart, man. I think you have your YouTube open.
No, actually, I think Lone Coyote was on here first. If you want to chat at him.
Yeah, I know that. What I mean is going back through your do you have your YouTube open with this window?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. I see what the problem is. I'll sign off and try to sign on again.
Well, you don't have to sign off. Just turn just go to your YouTube window and just mute it.
Oh, I don't even have YouTube window open. It's my Bluetooth. I'm talking through my tablet, and it's not going through my Bluetooth right now. So,
oh shoot.
So I'll have to, it's echoing back through there. So I'll try to rehook up. I'll go ahead and take off and try to catch later.
Okay. What's up, Lone Coyote? So sorry you've been waiting so long. You there?
check your mic. It might be muted, man.
It would say so right there in the corner. I think he's got a bad connection or something like that. Hey, Lone Coyote, can you hear us all right? Blink once for yes, twice for no. Oh, okay. Oh, he got off. Oh, that's a bummer. Hey, Bartman, if you want to come back on, you can. I think I'll just go ahead and work through the echoes. It's not like it was really that bad. Anyway, well, that's cool. So I'm going to look through some of these comments that I am so behind on and will not get caught up on. This guy here says, I went on this group ride that I got invited to, and it was mostly choppers and a few sport bikes and Groms. Being in the middle of a bunch of choppers on a ride through this country was amazing. That sounds like an adventure, Ryan.
It sure does.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Throttle Shots? Hey, man, if you want to come on and talk, join in on the chat, man, and tell us what motorcycling means to you, feel free. I just left the link down below your comment, and just click on it and come on up. I'd love to meet you. Oh, Lone Coyote is back. Hey, Lone Coyote, how's it going, man? Is it better now? Not quite coming through very well. Can you hear me all right? Yeah, it's very spotty. Snowmageddon and the Great White North.
Is that better or worse?
Oh, I can hear you now. That's awesome.
Good.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Can you hear me now? Okay. I didn't know if you needed me. I didn't know if the earbuds would make it better for you guys or not. I've never done this before, so.
Oh, okay. Well, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, man. You're
Cool.
coming through loud and clear. Usually with these earbuds, you were kicking in and out, so I was just listening because I couldn't tell whether I didn't want to ruin your cat.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I think I ruined the thing bad enough already because I had to change locations in the middle of the stream because my signal was going in and out in the garage. So now we're back in this boring bedroom that's not very exciting. So where are you from, Lone Coyote? I lost you again. Oh, there he is. Hey, Bartman.
Yep, I don't think I've got the problem fixed yet.
That's okay. It's not that
bad. I don't know. It worked last time.
Well, it's all right. It's not that big a deal. After all, I'm the one who doesn't need to do all the talking as far as Christian. You can understand me. I can understand you. It's good, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I know what it's like with other people because they're listening to it and it probably echoes like crazy on their end.
Yeah. Well, actually, when you have your YouTube open, like some people don't know any better, it's a lot worse than what's going on. So this is doable.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't even have YouTube open, so I'm talking through the tablet, and for some reason it's not coming through my headset.
When you're talking, Bartman, it's coming through good. When Saddle Tramp talks, it echoes, but you sound fine.
Yeah, you sound okay. So it's okay. So anyway,
I'm thinking what happens, it comes through my speakers on my tablet there, and then it comes right back into the microphone there. whenever somebody else talks, anything coming through my speakers.
Yeah, that might be what it is. That's no big deal. So anyway, what's your perspective, man? You've been on here before, and where are you coming from again? Where do you live at?
I'm right in central Illinois, about
Illinois.
30-degree weather.
Oh my goodness, that sounds like fun.
And rain, snow.
So you guys actually have what they call a riding season, like a lot of folks up north.
Definitely.
Yeah, we down here in the deep south, we don't know that.
Takes care of some of the echo or not.
So anyway, what's your perspective on motorcycling? What does it mean to you?
Oh, I would have to say that it's probably like everybody else, is the freedom, the air. Freedom has to be the biggest thing, I think. Just to get out and ride and feel the wind, and it's the closest thing getting back to nature without riding a horse, I guess.
Yeah, it's like I was saying, it's like the second best thing to sprouting wings and flying away.
Oh yeah, to be a bird, wouldn't that be something else?
I think one of the coolest things is when the wife and I rode out west, is we've been on the interstate for a little while, and somewhere in New Mexico we got off of the interstate and got onto this 2-lane highway that's in the middle of nowhere, and we had about 100 miles of the whole world all to ourselves, and nobody's coming the other way, nobody's behind us. So that was like a very liberating feeling. When you're coming from the east and then you go into the west, it's like the traffic thins out. There's hardly any people out there. Well, I say that's not true. There's a lot of people out there, but not compared as in the east where they're very concentrated, you know. So in fact, the interstate didn't even look like the interstate anymore. It looked like a 4-lane back road because there hardly was anybody on it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you can pre-plan, it's always great to try to get the back roads if you can. So, now you're talking about other people about their best trips, and I guess that would have been one of mine, which was out west also from central Illinois here. Like I said, when just picked up a couple blankets and kind of hit the road, and didn't really know where I was going to go, what route I was taking. Like I got down to the St. Louis area, you can go to the center route out on 36, or you can take the southern route, old 66 out. And say I got down St. Louis, just didn't know which way to go, and just finally just veered to the left and took the southern route, and made my way out to Manhattan Beach, California there. Then I went up Pacific Highway a little bit, got on up into Oregon, and into Crater Lake there. And then came back through Yellowstone. Of course, whenever you're up in that area, you got to take Beartooth Pass there to get up to about 12,000 feet. So,
wow.
And then 21 days later, I made it back home. And that's only because I had to be in a friend's wedding rehearsal. Pulled in.
I got you. So do you have any trips that you plan to take later on, or what's your dream trip if you have any?
Oh, I guess maybe a dream trip would be to ride on up into Alaska sometime.
That would be cool. But, yeah, I've seen videos where guys do that. There's actually a guy whose channel I follow. His name is the name of the channel is called Redbeard the Kilted Rider. And he when he got out of the military, well, I might get the sequence of events wrong, but he's just recently did his time in the Army, but anyway, he bought a 1200 Sportster in Pensacola, Florida, rode it all over the country, and then rode that thing to Prudhoe Bay in Alaska, and he's still on the road on a Sportster, and it's just anyway, I don't know how to put it in words, but that's like giving the middle finger to the cultures that says you got to have this, to have that, to do this and do that. You know, but that's really cool. Anyway, that's kind of what I want to do. You know, I like to try and do something like that on the tramp, but I don't see that happening.
I've heard some pretty rough stories of trying to take a bike all the way up there. Got to carry a spare tire supposedly.
Yeah.
And probably a spare belt or chain. So.
Well, most of the highways in Alaska are not paved; they're gravel. So you almost needed like an ADV bike to do that, because most of the people who do that ride those adventure bikes.
But other than that, another goal would be just to try to hit the lower 48 here on the bike. So other than that, other than just getting out and finding time to ride, that's the ultimate dream right there, just finding the time to ride.
Right.
So I'm not one for the, I don't know, a lot of people, just the weekend warriors, you know, running in town and bar to bar and whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of, if that's your that's your thing, that's cool, I guess. But there's more to life than just riding your motorcycle to the next beer joint, I think.
Oh, exactly. Like I say, when I get on the road, I just keep on going until it's time to stop for some gas. So.
Yeah, that's definitely a killjoy if that's the only thing you're going to do is ride to the local hangouts and stuff and then go to the house. I mean, I like to see new places that I've never been to, even if they're not like 500 miles away, just a new place I've never seen, especially on that bike that I made, the one that I put together, because it was a pile of parts at one time, and suddenly that pile of parts took me where. That's fun, you know.
Yeah, that's another dream of mine. Another one, if you find time to find an old basket case or something that I can redo, but I just haven't been able to find the time to do that. I don't have very good heat in my uninsulated shed, so.
Yeah, I got you. That's frustrating when you're trying to put stuff together with hands that you can't feel, you know.
Exactly.
Well, I'm gonna
yeah,
try.
that was my big trip out to California. Like I said, 6,200 miles and 21 days, and made it back, and that was on a 1,200 Sportster also.
So that's cool, because when you do it on a Sportster, you got something to talk about.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of people say, you did that on a Sportster. I said, no problem.
Well, when I was building the tramp, everybody around me, well, I say it, everybody, the general opinion of folks around me was like, you're going to break your back, or you're going to have a sore butt, you're going to have blah, 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 blah. So that just gave me all the more incentive to build that bike and then ride it places where people would want to take a bagger, you know, like when I rode to Texas. But when really you do anything on a Sportster like that, people go, "You rode that to there?" So, yeah, I sure did. But I mean, you really don't have bragging rights when you ride your road glide to 1,000 miles, you know. Because I mean, I'm not knocking road glides, you know. When I rode that one road glide on that one video, I was like very tempted to.
Oh yeah, they're good rides.
But you're like, yeah, I made it 1,000 miles. You know, well, of course you did. Look what you're riding, man. You know. So bragging rights is always fun to have. I know it's an ego thing, but it's a vanity thing. But you only live once, so do it so you can have something to talk about. And not to say it's nothing to talk about. Oh man, I really sound like a jerk now. Anyway. Oh well.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, we're all full of ourselves. And we're Americans too, so you know, Americans are full of themselves.
If we all gather around a campfire and start telling war stories, I mean, we'd be sitting around that campfire for weeks.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's cool.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm going to get on out here. I know that echo is probably bothering some people, so
that's background noise for me. I don't even notice it anymore.
Okay. Well, I'll take on
It's a
out.
lot
and take
easier
care of
to
that.
handle when just on StreamYard rather than YouTube.
Yeah. So what's up, Dustin?
Oh, not too much. My parents got back from Florida the other day, so they got to deal with the winter again.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. You know, you've been on here before. I can't remember where you said you were from.
I'm up in Alberta, Canada.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I thought you was from way up there.
Yeah. Well, did you hear about that cruise ship that got turned away from ports and had to go back to Florida because of a norovirus outbreak?
No, I haven't heard about that.
That was my parents' cruise ship, so they got
no.
They were a little ticked off because they had to head back to Florida early and had to get in a hotel rather than spend time on their cruise. But
Well, yeah, I guess so. I guess better that than getting whatever the plague is down there. Oh well. So we're talking about what motorcycling means to us and stuff like that, and what our dream is on our bike and stuff like that. And so, what's your perspective on that? In other words, what does motorcycling mean to you?
Yeah, well, a lot of times getting on my bike just allows me to think clearly again.
Yeah.
It's like the past couple months now, I've been unemployed again, and I can't go out and ride in this weather. So I've been.
Yeah, it's kind of. You guys are pretty much shut in this time of the year, huh?
Well, unless you want to go buy a snowmobile, but those aren't cheap at all now. So
snowmobile. I've never got the privilege to ride one of those. I don't even know if that's a privilege or not. But
well, I've been on them a couple times, and I don't really enjoy it all that much. It's just me.
It just is what it is.
Yeah, it's just like a lot of guys really like it. And a few years ago, I was living up in a place called White Court, where I think they were going for a Guinness record of snowmobiles. And I think they got it, but I had nothing to do with that and wasn't even interested. But it was. It snowed like 5 feet in a year there, so.
Oops, I didn't mean to do that.
And it was always like a foot at a time.
Somebody says snowmobile made by AMF.
I think there was a Harley Davidson snowmobile at one point.
Oh yeah.
I might even have it in this book here. The parents gave me this book a few years ago.
Harley Davidson
archive collection.
Archive. Okay.
Yeah, they've got some bikes in here that weren't supposed to be destroyed, and I think in the 60s or 70s, like I know they made a golf cart, and someone around here had a Harley Davidson golf cart, but.
Huh.
That was Adios motherfucker manufacturing.
Yeah, they did indeed make a snowmobile. It is in this book.
Check that out. Hey, it needs ape hangers.
Everything needs ape hangers.
Ape hangers and a really tall sissy bar.
It's got a little sissy bar already.
I know, it needs to be bigger. That's cool. So what kind of trips have you done? Like, and if not, do you have any kind of thing that you aspire to do?
I really want to go to Sturgis at some point. If money were no object, I would probably go buy a road glide from a buddy that works in Victoria at Barnes Harley Davidson, and then I would go down the West Coast, over along the Gulf Coast to Florida, and up, and then wherever the hell I felt like after that.
So in other words, wherever you can go to keeps you as far away as possible for as long as possible, right?
Yeah. And ideally, I'd have a dog up with me again, but
see, that's why I have cats. Cats can pretty much fend for themselves. You can leave them alone. They know how to be. Dogs, they're going to shrivel up and die if you don't feed them in 2 hours, or die of depression or something like that. You know.
I had a beagle, and I had to put him down in October, but he was like, if you're eating something, it was like you could go feed him, he'd gobble that down real quick, and then it was just like, I'm starving. You haven't fed me in a minute.
Nice to share.
Yeah, I got cats like that too. I got those spoiled rotten ones, that is.
But I've kind of been looking at smaller dogs because of like watching Adam Sandoval, him taking Scooter everywhere.
Well, you know why I think, I mean, this is just a perspective. I'm probably wrong. It put me in mind of a lot of homeless guys who have dogs. I've heard that they do this because whenever they get jacked up by the cops, or the cops want to jack them up or something like that, or throw them in jail, then there's a lot of paperwork to go through and a lot of red tape to go through to do something about the dog. And so typically whenever the cops see a homeless guy with a dog, they leave him alone because they don't want to have to deal with that. And so I kind of wondered if that's why Adam carried his dog around with him, because you're going to live on the road like that. You're going to sleep in places you're probably not supposed to, or, it's just going to happen. You're going to run across a scenario that's not going to be the favorite thing to happen, whether it be, something like, with the law. In other words, it's just part of it whenever you're living a drifter life. I mean, I'm not saying that Adam's a drifter. I mean, but you stay on the road for a year at a time like that.
Well, he was on the road for something like 3 years before he actually bought his campground and actually had a place to call home again.
Yeah, that's usually the purpose a dog will serve for somebody who's homeless, is that the cops don't want to mess with them because they don't want to mess with the whole dog scenario. But then again, he may really love his dog too. So I mean, I don't know. You don't know a man's heart, but that is a convenient thing if you got an animal with you when you live like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know the whole deal, but listening to him talk, like he sold everything he owned and headed out on the road with as I understand it, he'd found his wife in bed with another man, and at that point it was just kind of like a switch flipped, and he's like, okay, I'm done with this life. And
you know what? That's like the ultimate response to a scenario like that. When I did that, it was kind of funny. When I was on the road for 3 months, I had no intention of going home, but then I met my wife I have now. And so now I had to I don't want to say grow up, but just, anyway, you know what I mean? And
change the venue.
But everything surrounding that scenario, why I was on the road, was, no job, no wife, because the wife, anyway. And then, then my dog got run over. So it kind of sounds like an old country song. But anyway, so I left and I split, and it was just the greatest thing to leave everything behind, especially when you're on two wheels. And somebody asked me, when are you going back to Mississippi? And I was like, hey, I don't know. I never thought about that. And I love the fact that I didn't even have to think about that. Maybe I won't go there. Maybe I'll go here. Maybe I'll go there. And that's a wonderful way of being. Let me answer this guy real quick. This guy said something to me. He says, please stay awesome. Don't turn out like back road bikers. All right, Nomad Mullen. I'm not awesome, okay? I'm just like anybody else, but I sure am not going to be like that. So, but you ain't got nothing to worry about. So, Charlie, man, what's your perspective, man? What's about
I apologize for not being able to catch up with you today. I appreciate the invite, though.
Oh, you're talking about last weekend?
Yeah, when you invited me out. I appreciate
that's cool,
that,
man.
I got my bike in the shop right now, so I can't roll it around right now. As far as being on a bike,
Yeah.
hey, I've lived on one 100% one time, and that was my transportation. I'd pull up to a tree and call up in a tree, and then I'd watch the cops drive around trying to figure out where I was at. So I'm just a hobo that's settled in down here permanently. I've finally got me some roots in the house. But, I'll tell you one thing that I really don't like about today's yaks is everybody's got the best, and if you ain't got what I got, you ain't shit. And I mean, we're all different. Look at the number of the bikes that's out there, and the bikes are made for the different people, and we're all different personalities, but we're just a big family. And I mean, people ought to get off this. Well, you ain't got the kind of bike I got, but you ain't got the new one like I got. Well, you ain't got the old one I got. Hey,
yeah.
What's your ride, Charlie?
Oh, whatever I can get on. I got an 09 Crossbone that I bought back in February 2010, and it was basically what I tried to build my XLH into that I had back then. I put 52K model flywheels in that thing and spacers under the jug. I had like 14-to-1 compression ratio in it. I stuck a kicker on the damn thing that was like 4 inches longer than the stock kicker, which it didn't even come with a kicker. And took the starter and the battery out so I could lose about 80 pounds, and had a magneto on it. And the boy that built the motor for me, I went up to Illinois to pick it up, and they had a big old heavy 300-pounder trying to kick that motherfucker over. And after about 4 or 5 kicks, we thought something was wrong. So we pulled the spark plugs out, and you could roll it over by hand. So we put them back in and pushed it out on the street and rolled it down the hill to start it. So my godson has that bike now because I look like an ape on a tricycle because I got so damn big. But I love Sportsters. They are a kick-ass bike.
At one point, I put a seat from a Crossbones on my bike, but that kept.
Mine's got the tractor seat on it.
I kept falling off the back, so.
That's funny.
Yeah, mine's got the spring tractor seat on it, so it's a real pleasure for me to ride, especially with my old back.
Well, yeah, that was a comfortable seat, but just like with my bike, I got the SNS 583 cams in it, and then a little bit of head work, and I cracked the throttle and just about fell off.
Yeah, it's got a lot of torque, and whoever had, because I bought that bike slightly used, it had like 5,700 miles on it when I bought it, and whoever had it put the ignition system on it, and pretty good bit of money, but the suspension on it wouldn't hold me and the old lady, and that's probably why they got rid of it, because it was supposed to hold almost 500 pounds with rider weight, and me and her both on there had to stand on the floorboards and stick my body between the handlebars for us to knock the bottom out on the ass end. And now the shop that I got it in right now, I bought a progressive adjustable preload shock, and that cost me about $900, and I've been sitting on that for a couple of years while the bike's been sitting. So he's going to stick that on there for me with the fuel pump and the other shit that's got to be done to it. I don't work on my shit anymore, even though I can.
Well, if you don't have to, I understand not doing it.
I don't see good. And I just got my eye surgery, but seeing up close and distance, I have to keep changing out glasses and stuff. And it's just, you got to be, you see right now up close, you got to be say far away within every time you're working on something. And that just don't work out my eyesight. So yeah, I went to MMI way back in 87. So that's been years ago, but everything's changed since then.
I had laser surgery in 09, and that changed a lot of stuff for me because it used to take off my glasses to look at things up close, and all of a sudden it was just like.
Yeah, I've always had a bad astigmatism. I wore glasses since I was in the first grade, but I got a real bad cataract here a couple of years ago, and that's when I finally got so bad that I had to have the surgery.
Yeah, my dad actually a few years ago had he had really bad astigmatism. He was legally blind without glasses, and he had cataract surgery, so they actually implanted lenses into his eyes. And for
Well,
the
they
first
gave
time.
me
He was like
23/20 vision now in that one eye, and I still got to have the right eye worked on. But the doctor's already told me that eye is legally blind, and it'll never be anything but a little bit of vision out of it.
Yeah, my dad had to get the implanted lenses, and that enabled him to actually see without glasses for the first time in, what was it, like 50 years?
Yeah, it's cool. Well, I don't have to wear glasses to see on regular vision.
On a side note, I heard that half the people in China have cataracts. Did you know that? Yeah, the other half they drive Rinkins.
Jerry got a sick sense of humor.
Yeah, pretty I got Rinkin.
Well, let's get back to bikes, gentlemen, because we all got bad bodies and bad eyesight and bad backs.
I was at the motorcycle show in Edmonton in January. The guy from Legend Suspension was telling me they've got a new coilover setup coming out for the soft tails like mine, and I'm looking forward to seeing that out because the factory suspension on my Fat Boy Low sucks.
I think Harley's going to a Unishock now.
So the what year is your bike, Dustin?
2010.
And the suspension's not very good on it, huh?
No, I did get the adjustment tool from the local shop here. The guy said he'd sell me his because he never used it. And so a buddy of mine had come in to visit, and we put mine up in the air a little bit, and I adjusted the shocks, and they weren't actually set properly to begin with. So the ride did get a little better when I adjusted, but one had been like fully bottomed out for lightest preload. Wasn't.
Is yours a soft tail?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have
both them shocks got to be adjusted equally. If you don't adjust them equally, you'll have more load on one than the other one, and it will not spring right.
Factory, so I've been
well, what you need to do is run them all the way out to no load and start from there. Don't depend on somebody at the factory doing something right.
Yeah, well, they're running at lightest preload possible now, and it has improved the ride.
It softens it, but how is it if you put somebody else on there?
I don't know. I don't
have drag on
passenger seat on there.
Did you buy
all the passenger stuff?
Did you bought your bike used, right?
No, I bought it new.
Brand new, and you still had issues with the suspension. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, Harley's quality's kind of gone downhill.
When I got my 2012 Heritage, I swore I was riding on a cloud. That thing was so smooth. I mean, they're pretty much the same rolling chassis. They are the same rolling chassis. Actually, 10 to 12 isn't any different. I was just thinking that you had bought it used. Maybe somebody had put a slam kit on it or something like that would make it ride a little rougher. Because I did the same thing to mine when I put a little slam kit on it to make it sit lower, and of course, you know.
Well, mine is low, so it's sort of factory slammed, but
yeah, the less travel you have in them things, the harder they're going to hit. You know, when I had it at the stock height, I had no issues with it. It's like, not that there was really ever an issue with it, but it just ran so smooth. I mean, it rolled so smooth. Every time I'd ride somewhere on it, it was like, and I get back home, it's like I felt like I didn't do anything. You know, it was so smooth.
Well, we get some pretty bad roads up here that you just can't avoid the bumps, and that tends to be where
it's told.
You gotta be.
Well, they adjusted my shock all the way out with me and the old lady sitting on it over at the Mobile Harley, and it still drug the tire. So then I bought this progressive shock for $900. And they recommended that you weigh at least 230 pounds before you put that shock on the bike, which I had that covered with no problem. So with me and her both on there, when I get the bike back, then I can just reach down like the new Harley, where you reach down and adjust your preload.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
It adjusts the dampener on it. That's what that little knob does. It didn't change the spring tension. It just adjusts
how the dampener is on the hydraulic part of it. But
Yeah.
Without her on it, with it being adjusted like it is now, it rides good because the back end's now like a hardtail.
Huh.
And I still got the springs in the seat.
I was looking at that very same system at one point, and I was just like, I'm the only one who ever rides on this. I will never take a passenger on it. I don't need the adjustable. I just need to get a new suspension setup, set it, and forget it.
Right. Well, Rick the Mick, what's happening, man?
Not much, Tramp. How's it going, boys?
Doing all right, man.
Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, I hear you
Yes.
just fine. Hear you just fine. Rick, you've been on here before.
All right, good. I got a Bluetooth headset in too.
Huh?
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you've been on here before, I think. I can't remember where you said you was from.
I'm from the great state of Idaho.
Idaho. Okay, I remember that now.
So
You're practically a neighbor to me.
So what's going on in the great state of Idaho today?
oh, it's still building season over here because we're still part of the Pacific Northwest and it's cold and sandy. So, but other than that, just building away. I was gapping rings earlier today and sanding on my frame.
Oh, cool. What you building?
Sitting on the floor. Yep. So just kind of doing the same thing, toiling away in the garage.
Oh, sure. Hey, can we get a closer look at that?
Which one?
The one you're working on.
Well, yeah. Well, there's that frame, which is the main bike that I ride. But then if I just keep panning over my shoulder, you'll see an iron head there too. So mine's a 77.
Hey, we're in Skunkworks now on the Need to Know project there.
Here you go.
One of these days,
But I grew up. Yeah, I grew up riding dirt bikes out in the desert and in the redwood trees and that kind of stuff. So, to kind of get onto the topic of what we're talking about, what motorcycling means to me, it's more about family than anything else.
Okay.
I think, like a lot of people, I learned how to ride from my father, and he was part of the big motocross craze back in the 60s and 70s in California, and so I grew up riding dirt bikes to begin with, and it progressed into 4-cylinder Jap bikes, and then it broke my dad's heart when I came out as a Harley guy.
Oh, man. No fella.
So, yeah, I'm the same way with the Tramp here. I'm a Sportster guy, and I'm a Sportster guy till I die. So
that's cool. Well, that's a really cool perspective. I haven't heard that one yet. You grew up in it, and it's family to you. That's something I can never say. Yep. I'm the only one in my family that rides.
Me too.
In fact, I started riding first, and then my dad. It's kind of funny. Usually, the dad hands down to the son, whatever he had.
Yeah.
Well, no, my dad's his first motorcycle was my first motorcycle, so I gave my dad my first motorcycle. He started learning how to ride, and he loved it so much. And all my motorcycling friends knew my dad because of me. They didn't know me because of my dad. It was backwards. But anyway, he's passed away now, so now I'm all by myself again. So, but that's really cool to hear that it's with family. That's really neat. I dig that a lot. So what?
Well, good. And
what was you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say that it's, coming back to it. You said that you're alone. I think that there's enough people logged on here that proves that motorcycling is the community. Mm-hmm. And so that's pretty neat. I mean, you and I wouldn't be speaking, and I wouldn't be speaking with any of these gentlemen if it wasn't for motorcycles. So that's kind of a neat thing as well. So
motorcycles and social media kind of brought the whole world together too, which I think is really cool about this kind of thing right here. Everybody has a background. They have a story to tell. They have everybody has a background that made them who they are, and to come together like this, in this type of a forum, because we have this one thing in common is that we'd like to ride, and being that we all have a background and we all come from somewhere, everybody's unique. It's always cool to hear somebody else's perspective of what it means to them. you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really cool. I can dig that. It's family with you. I wish I could say that, but
I just like to ride. I mean, it's I've been on one since I was 10 years old, off and on.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was going down to MMI back in '87 through '89, I used to go out to Bernie's bar where the Outlaws were and just go hang around the bar and sit around some of their parties when they had one. But I was never really interested in getting in any club because that's just not the life I wanted to live. I've answered to me. I don't want to be, if I want to go somewhere, I want to go. I don't want to ask permission to go there. And now I'm on the ass end of life now, so I don't. You know, all I am right now is riding the clock up.
Buddy of mine,
still have fun riding.
Buddy of mine down in Texas wanted me to, move down there and join his club, and I'm just like, okay, moving down there would be great, but I don't want to join your club.
I tell you, I did I think I said this already. I did the club thing before, and there's neither good nor bad in it. You just got to be cut from a certain cloth to one.
Yeah, if it fits you, it fits you. If it don't, it don't.
Yeah, and I did it for 4.5 years. So, I don't want to say I grew up. It's just or grew out of it. I guess people just change, and so. But it's some people need that. I'll say that some people need something like that. They need the brotherhood. They need the camaraderie. Not all clubs are the same, but
but you kind of look at them like a construction job. If you look at the construction job, most everybody on that job is pretty damn young, and there's a few of the olders at the top. And you look at the club, and most everybody in that club is pretty young. And as you get closer to the top, they start getting a little older, but the herd's thinning out by then.
That's kind of funny because where I'm at, a lot of the club guys are. I don't know if they're going through the midlife crisis or what, but I mean, there's not a lot of young guys. I mean, there are some young guys, but I'm saying it seems like the overwhelming majority are. Then again, I'm not on the scene anymore. Maybe that's just for me looking from far from the outside looking in, because I don't go around those. I don't. Not that I try to stay away from them. It's just what I do nowadays just doesn't, involve that.
There's a group I would like to be associated with.
CMA. Yeah, I know those guys. I do ride with those guys sometimes. They're pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Well, anyway, Rick, we got on a rabbit trail. So
that we seem to do.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Look, what is your being that you grew up in this? I mean, what is your most fantastic, outrageous road trip you've taken on two wheels, and why? And what do you do later on? What kind of trip?
Well, when you start out riding dirt bikes, you start defining trips as 30 miles at a time, and you're happy that you survive those 30 miles of just riding off road and through the desert. And I mean, there's cars, but jackrabbits come out of nowhere and from the weirdest places, and you flinch and you react. So there's a lot that translates between the dirt and the street and vice versa. But as I got older and I started riding street bikes, I really had never taken a long trip ride up until this last summer. I mean, that's what we talked about previously. Last year, I went to Born Free down in Southern California. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about it.
Yeah.
I started up here outside of Boise in Idaho, and rode down to Reno, and then Reno to Vegas, and then Vegas over to California, and came back up. And as I'm coming up I-5 between LA and Sacramento, I have family still in Sacramento. Bike starts making a really rattling high top end noise, and was worried that I'm going to be out in the middle of nowhere in the desert of California, way away from home, with a blown up bike. And so getting off and going through Modesto and going through Lodi and taking some of these little trips through the farming communities of the orchards, that motor forced me off the highway to go through all of these little towns and to just see Southern California that is still maybe only 500-600 people. And it really forced me to slow down and take the time. And to smell the apple orchards or the orange orchards was like a huge blessing. And had that not happened, I'd have just blown up I-5 all the way to Sacramento. And so I think the answer of what's my, most wild trip was, well, that one until the next one. You know what I mean? And you just kind of go with the intention of, well, let's see what kind of trouble we can get into respectfully. Let's see what we can talk our way out of. But just kind of see what happens. One of my favorite things on that trip was, instead of hitting hotels, I stopped at hostels on the way down. I mean, I'm only, I need a place to sleep. I need a place that the bike's going to be safe, and I need to shower before I get on the road in the morning. I don't need, Egyptian cotton at the, Bellagio or whatever it is. I need to get on the bike and go. And I had an overnight in Vegas on the way down at this place called Hostel Cat. Great name, great cartoon mascot. Google that place. It's amazing. And I'm sitting down with, I believe one of them was from France and the other one was from Germany. And over across the hill in Pahrump, Nevada, they actually have like a racing school that you can go as a civilian and go learn how to race NASCAR stuff. Well, he was there testing pipes for NASCAR, the guy from Germany, because he was an intern for BMW. I would have never had that conversation if I was staying at, the Circus or something like that. But this kid that was on a budget and I was on a budget, and we sat down and shared a great story over White Castle burgers. It was awesome.
Cool. Oh, that's cool. You're talking about making him, causing you to stop and enjoying the scenery around you. I said something about that on one of my videos when I was talking about my review about that Evo that I have now, that Evo Softail. And it's that I noticed that right off the bat is that, the lack of horsepower compared to the 103 twin cam I had. So I had nothing left to do than to actually enjoy my surroundings, than to act like I'm king of the highway. When I had that 103, everybody was in my way, so to speak. Actually, it wasn't that everybody was in my way. I was just a big jerk because I had that big motor and I was trying to misbehave myself. But I have the Evo. It's somebody really has to be going freaking slow for me to want to pass them if I'm on that bike, So, but I actually enjoy what's going on around me now a little bit better. I never really realized that until I got that bike.
You ain't using much gas anymore either, I bet. I bet you ain't using as much gas anymore either.
Actually, believe it or not, it's about the same. And on the highways, on the interstate, I should say, depends on what kind of day it is, whether you're going uphill and against the wind or going downhill and you got the wind at your back. That 103 got as good a gas mileage as that Evo did, because not because I didn't say that right. It gets as good as gas mileage as the Evo, so to speak, but it's mainly because of how it's geared. When I went to this big engine displacement, that allowed Harley to make the engine sprocket, the chain sprocket in the primary, to be bigger. And the closer that the motor sprocket gets to being on size with the clutch basket, the more longer legs you're going to get. But when you have that huge engine displacement, you got the torque and the horse, and the power to turn it. Right. And so at those you're not as high RPMs going down the interstate or going 80 miles an hour on those newer motors than you are on those older motors.
Mine's a 96 cubic inch, and mine's a 96 cubic inch, and I got to stay in fifth gear until I get to 75 or above, because if I change out the sixth gear before then, it lugs the motor.
Right.
But once I get above 75 and change the six, then I can hit 80 or 90, and it's going like it should be. But if I try to pass somebody at 80 mile an hour, it just bogs down. I got to shift down to fifth. Now, if I get up to about 85 or 90, then I can open up the wick and it'll pass just like you're in fourth or fifth gear. So
Well,
yeah,
that
they've done a lot with the gearing.
with that 103 twin cam, I did an experiment on that thing because in the dash, it's just like that digital dash that it has. I could actually see my RPMs. I can set it to the setting where I can see my RPMs and what gear I'm in. I'm not one that likes to hot rod a lot, but I got curious because of what you're talking about, how much it would lug at a high gear at certain speeds. So I wanted to see how many RPMs that thing would pull at 100 miles an hour. So eventually I got to a place on the interstate, where there was nobody, and I got that thing up to 100 miles an hour, and I looked down, and that thing was only pulling 3,800 RPMs.
That's
and
not bad.
those twin cams redline at 5,500 RPMs. So those things are freaking geared too high, in my opinion. I was like, I mean, really, by the time you're redlining with those later model twin cams, you've already run out of chassis, man. You're fixing to go off the road or something, But
yeah,
anyway.
my favorite speed of ride is about 55 or 60. I mean, I like doing that all day long.
I'll tell you what, when you get out west, you don't want to go too fast. We run out of gas and because in the east, you have a gas station every other exit. Out west, it's probably going to be 70 miles to the next town. So
no,
if you're lucky,
used to say 120 miles, they meant 120 miles. They wasn't kidding.
Yeah. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Mine is fine. Like 60, 65, and if I go above that, then I start almost being able to watch my fuel gauge drop.
Oh, boys, 65 in Idaho is called late for church.
I've been late for church before.
You'll get passed by the lifted Suburban.
I get passed by lifted F-350 here all the time.
You asked them about their. You asked them about their ride, but my most favorite ride is I was down in Orlando, and I was doing day labor, and I got a job at a wood shop. So I managed to buy me a KZ 650, and I rode that out of Orlando up 95 to Kensington, North Carolina to see my sister, and I spent about 3 days with her. Then I got on 40 and went back to Asheville to see my grandmother and my people. And then I come down going towards Saluda Mountain, and then I hit 441 and come down through Georgia that way. So I went over to Augusta, and then I took 16 down and rode that for a little bit till I got back down to over to the 95, and then I got on A1A and took the coastal highway, thinking I was going to see the ocean in Florida and get the scenic view all the way to Daytona before I could go back to Orlando, and I got to see in between houses every now and then.
You got to see that in hotels and condos, stuff like that.
Yeah. And you're talking about, we're in a house of beach.
That was a little bit of a surprise for me when I was down in Florida last time, too. It was just like, okay, I'm on the A1A. Hotel.
Yeah.
Man, why didn't they build that on the backside of the highway so you could see the ocean? That just ruined it. For me, I never want to tour that damn road again because of that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Gulf of Mexico. Especially
I really want to ride the coastal highway in California. I just don't really want to go to California.
No.
It's worth the hassle, bud.
Yeah.
It is worth the hassle to go through Southern California. I missed it last year. I'm going to do it this year when I go down. So,
Rick,
actually, that's a good question.
What part of
Idaho are you in, Rick?
I'm outside of Boise.
Yeah, I've got some friends that are in Idaho Falls now.
Right.
So I might be heading down there this summer if I can get a decent job.
If you're in the area, I'm sure we'll be able to connect somehow. Corey, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say that I was impressed with California when I went there.
Love the state.
Well, seeing the ocean for the first time. Seeing the Pacific Ocean, that is. I'm used to the Gulf of Mexico where everything's muddy looking when you look at the front. But that's mainly because of all the bayous we got where I'm at. Not all of the Gulf of Mexico is like that, but the area I'm at is like that. But looking over the cliff, it was the first time I actually have to look over a cliff to see the water. I never did that before. And then to see how blue that water is compared to what I've never seen that before. But at the same time, when I looked over the cliff and I looked at the water, I saw a whale, and I'd never seen a whale before. And that anyway, that was revolutionary to me, you know.
Good, man. Good.
But
and actually, that's.
I was going to agree with you. Said it's worth the trouble. It's worth going. You know.
Oh, for sure. I mean, to come back to what Charlie was saying about, I just like to ride. I just like to ride too. And I make excuses to go see family so that I can go ride, or I make excuses to go see buddies so that I can go to the stuff like that. So, I mean, I still have family in California, and this is an excuse to ride down and go see them and do all that stuff that I don't get to do, you know, during the winter time. So I encourage you boys, plan a trip. You guys have any trips coming up this coming year?
I'm going to Asheville in April on mine. I'll be going up there for a couple weeks.
Good deal.
And I'll be down in Cherokee to wheel through time for a little bit. I'm probably going to head out Maggie Valley and come back the back way through Coyote and hit Highway 11, come back into Alabama that way. I won't be doing the interstate coming back. I'm going to do the interstate getting up there, but I'll do the back roads coming back.
Yeah.
So
good deal. How about you, Trap?
I've got one coming up, but I'm not going to, due to time, I'm not going to be riding. I'm going to be flying out. I need to see some friends, and we're going to Born Free. That's the tramp. I mean, that's the plan, to do a trip out there, and hopefully I can, you know, when I get out there, maybe I can. I don't know if there's any place that does motorcycle rentals or anything like that, but you know, it's still up in the air. But mainly it's to go see some friends out there. It's the same people we went to visit when we went to California last time. So
a dealer will rent you a bike, but it'll cost you a fortune to get one.
Probably.
Yeah, so, you're gonna have like $3,000 deposit on. When I looked into it last.
No way.
I was just like,
here's the beauty of it. Here's the beauty of it. Born Free's at the end of June. There's plenty of time to figure out how to get you a bike until then.
Yeah. I'm kind of wondering if I can find somebody to like loan me a bike that lives in the area or something. But anyway, yeah, you're right. We've got plenty of time to figure that out. Right now, we're just figuring out the plane tickets because I only have a week to play with, and that's for where I live. That's not enough time to actually. By the time I get there, I have to turn around and come right back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it takes me 4 days.
Yep.
Actually, it took me 4 days to get there on that twin cam, and I could do 500 miles a day on that thing real easy. But on that Evo, you know, it didn't beat feet like that twin cam does. So anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah, most I've ever done in a day on my bike was about 600 miles. Went down to the Cypress Hills and then turned around and came back.
Yeah, that's another thing is mileage is an interesting like thought or concept because there are some places where that iron butt, that 1,000 miles in 24 hours is totally doable. It's exceptionally difficult to try and do like through the mountains here just because the terrain is so curvy and not, you know, direct that getting 600 miles or 1,000 miles within that 24 hours, if you're not going in a straight line beating feet, it's real difficult to do. So not saying that it can't be done. It's just another concept of, you know, I was thinking about doing the iron butt within the next year and I'm trying to plan a trip out and everywhere coming from Boise. It's like, that's a really hard road to try and get 1,000 miles on. So.
Yeah. Hey, this guy says I can. So JC Cycles, does Pacific Mike live out that way? Does kind of seem self-explanatory. You guys ever follow that guy?
Is he the gentleman that's got the pan head and he talks like this?
Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I just started following him on YouTube.
Yeah,
he reminds me of my shop teacher in high school, just not as eloquent. I mean, he's more eloquent than my shop teacher was, but yeah, he looks like my shop teacher.
It reminds me of Bob Ross.
The Bob Ross of motorcycles.
That's pretty funny.
Just minus the afro.
He's got a knucklehead.
He's got a pretty awesome pan head, man. He does.
I got panhead too.
I like knuckles. There was a short run on that engine. They didn't build them long.
Panhead or knucklehead?
Knucklehead.
Yeah.
My favorite motor is a flathead. They built that all the way up to 77 and put it in server cars.
Yeah,
80 cubic inch flathead.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they kept them in server cars all the way up to 1977. But plus, they had the 3-speed reverse on it, which you can take that reverse out and put a forward gear and have a 4-speed tranny on it. Or you can keep it in reverse. Just don't back up somebody on the stoplight when you put it in the wrong gear.
Yeah.
Listen, gentlemen, I'm going to split. Nice talking to all of you. Hope to see you.
Charlie, nice to meet you, Charlie. Have a good one, bud.
Or let's do lunch one day.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll end up sending each other messages until we both got the same thing going on, and then we'll get up.
Well, I can meet you halfway in Biloxi. You're on the other side of all that.
Yeah, pretty much.
And there's a real good place right up above the Hard Rock. It's got good food. They serve iced tea and water.
Which place is that?
It's a little restaurant that's got I don't know what the name. What's the name of that place we went to? Adventures.
Adventures.
Yes, it's about a half a block up from the Hard Rock. You can walk from the Hard Rock right up there to it.
So I wonder if that's the same place that used to be the Adventures that burned down.
I don't know.
Yeah, they had pretty good. They had pretty good ribeye sandwiches.
They got real good food there. Me and the old lady go over there a lot. So anyway, I can meet you at the Hard Rock one day, and we can just walk right up there, or we can drive up there and park. They got a parking lot out back.
You know, I'm off on Fridays through Sundays, so pretty much any Friday I'm always open.
Well, shoot me a text when you want to. And,
all right, that'd be cool.
We'll arrange it, and I'll buy.
All right.
If you fly, I buy. Can't beat a deal like that. A free lunch, huh? No such thing as a free lunch. You got one now.
Free lunch when you to ride.
Yeah. All right, y'all. I'll check you later.
All right. See
Good
you
night,
later,
Charlie.
Thanks for coming along.
Thank you.
Oh man. So, any of you guys in the chat who want to come up and give your perspective, what does motorcycling mean to you? What kind of trips have you done? What do you look forward to do in the future? Or if you just feel like just saying hi, that's cool too.
Hey, Corey, last time you did this and I came on, I didn't have this yet.
What's that? Oh, you put that on there, huh?
Yeah. Got the Santa for my helmet.
That's cool. Hey, Paul, I see you commenting over in the side chat. If you want to come up and talk to us, you're more than welcome. And you seem pretty persistent. But if not, that's cool too. Would like to hear what kind of bike you ride and what you do, man. And what's it mean to you and how you doing? Oh, here we go. Somebody else that wants to come on.
What you
And
do,
this
man.
is Larry.
What's it mean to you? And how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. All right.
All right. Yeah, you guys were talking about Born Free earlier. Hope you can get out here. I'm real close to it. I just bought my grass passes. They just became available yesterday. I jumped on them. I went both days last year. You will see some incredible bikes. And I'm a guy. I'm no mechanic. I don't know how to build a bike. I just love bikes.
Yeah.
All bikes. But you will see some awesome choppers out there. Last year, Laidlaw's Harley Davidson won a competition with two bikes they built. They won it with one. worldwide for Harley Davidson with, I think they call it the Coast Glide. And that was out there. But you will see some awesome builds. It is, according to Matt Laidlaw, it is the largest builders rally. It's not a bikers rally. It's a builders rally in the world. And these guys go out there and show their stuff. They really get into making some awesome bikes.
That's kind of what I got from when I went to Giddy Up, Texas, to that chopper show that they had over in New Braunfels. Sad to say they're not doing it anymore. It's no more. But of all the bike rallies I've been to, not that I've been to a whole lot, that one there wasn't typical, and it was about each other's rides. It was about the bikes, seeing the work of arts, and talking about how we got there, and everybody just enjoying each other's time. And that's not like Sturgis, and it's not like Daytona or Laconia and all these other big events where you have the guy who's got $30,000 who can to lay down at any given moment, that or the fat bald guy with the do rag and the big cigar. That it's none of that. I'm not being stereotypical. But when I went to that chopper show, it's everybody there is there for the same reason, to see what everybody made with their bare hands and what they had. And I imagine Born Free is just like that too, because it's not a party, it's a get together more than anything. That's what Giddy Up was, and I imagine Born Free.
These are some of the best builders in the world, and they're showing their stuff, man. And of course, there's all the stuff being sold that you can get, and you want to pay $18, you can have a beer.
I'd rather pay $18 for something I can put on my bike or something like that.
I bought a T-shirt, just seeing, and not just the build bikes, even the other guys' bikes that come in. Everybody's got their own personality. Everybody likes their own thing, but you still make your bike your own.
Right. The bike is it's an extension of those bikes. It's an extension of their personality, an extension of who they are, an extension of their expression and stuff like that.
But Born Free, if you can get out there this year, Corey, you'll really have a good time. I know it's a long ride. For me, that would be a long ride.
I actually would love to ride out that way. Well, I've been out that way, but I mean, I don't have that same bike anymore, and I don't have the same time. So, yeah, I haven't got all the details hashed out. I know we're going to get there somehow this year, so it's going to happen.
But even if you don't get to Born Free, definitely take a ride through the Sequoia National Forest and the giant redwoods. You want to see an awesome ride, just for the scenery. That people been going there for a couple hundred years now, just to take in the awesomeness, the beauty that's around there. The coast is great though too. I've lived here my whole life, and there's no place like it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's tough to live here now.
I definitely want to see all that stuff. I know that like 2 years ago was the first time I'd ever been any further west than San Antonio, and to know that the West has, I mean, you got the desert, then you got then you got the different kind of mountains what the East can offer. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but it's just a different land. It's I remember coming into somewhere, and I thought it was a huge thundercloud on the horizon, reaching all the way up as far as possible, way off in the distance, and I realized that was a mountain, not a freaking cloud. I was like, holy cow. And then you go up into these mountains and you come down the mountain, you're looking at where you're going to, and you feel like you're in an airplane, like, oh, whoa, because we don't have stuff like that in the East. I mean, you got the Smokies and you got the Ozarks, there's the Appalachians. They're not the same, I mean, everything has its own beauty in its own way, but to say it like this, there's so much out there that I would love to see that I've never seen, and I don't even think a lifetime is enough to see it all. I mean, but definitely like Sequoia National Forest. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see what do you call it? Monument Valley, the White Sands, and all the other stuff that everybody talks about, like the Grand Canyon. I haven't even seen that, but I think I would have to be jobless and homeless and like Scooter Tramp Scotty to go see it all. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, guys,
we're down a Canadian.
Do what?
We lost the Canadian.
We lost. Oh yeah, Dustin's gone. I was looking off into the corner, and yeah, you're right. Now I see three of you. Oh well. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. I've been on about 2 hours, and I'm fading. I'm ready to go.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right.
But this
Enjoy,
was
everybody.
This was fun, and I enjoyed everybody that came on, and I enjoyed all the comments, and this guy right here, before I go, Mr. Paul Conroy says, "Make you realize how great God is." And anyway, all right, Paul, I'll go ahead and let it be known that one God, one mediator, one Lord Jesus Christ, and trust in the Lord Jesus, and you shall be saved. Okay, so I went ahead and got that out. So anyway, yeah, see, Rick Nick's got it going on, and whoever, but everybody's got their own prerogative. Whatever you believe, whatever you believe, and that's your own conviction. So, and God will deal with the rest in the end. Anyway, I enjoyed you guys coming on. Rick, I enjoyed you. Larry, I enjoyed you coming on, and everybody else who came on. I enjoyed everybody that came on. Sorry about the hiccup that happened in the garage. I guess that's not going to work, but oh well. I just thought motorcycles in the background was cooler looking than this room. So one of them vanity things. Oh well. So anyway, you guys be good to yourselves, man, and thanks a lot for coming on. And I guess I'll see y'all next time. All right.
Have a good night, boys.
Have a good weekend and a nice ride.
All right. Likewise. Bye-bye.
Bye.